What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BAM GPG. I'll be your host, Bryson.
And I'll be your co-host, Ben.
And today we're going to do a full-on mock draft with the Rams. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And go check out our TikTok, BAM GPG.
Yes, so we're going to get into a 4-round mock draft. No trades for the LA Rams. So they just signed Devontae Adams at wide receiver this evening. The news broke on that. So we're going to get into a draft with them, see what it looks like. Take a look at their position of need. We'll try to stick to that on our board. But we'll also take a look at the best available as we get kind of towards those third and fourth rounds. But before we get into that here, real quick, Bryson, want to get this, get your guys' opinions on something here. Let us know in the comments. So, top NBA player of all time. I got Michael Jordan, right? He's my top guy.
Larry Bird.
He's got Larry Bird as his top NBA player of all time.
What do you guys are going to say LeBron James?
Yeah. What? Larry Bird confuses me. I don't even have Larry Bird in my top 5 of all time.
Really?
No, not even close. Not even close. So, as you can see, he's wearing a Boston shirt, so he's not biased at all whatsoever on this. But he's got Larry Bird as his top NBA player of all time. Please let us know in the comments what you think, who your top guy is of all time. I'm probably a little bit biased, right, with Jordan. But Jordan, I grew up in the 90s watching the Bulls. Love Jordan. I think he's the greatest of all time, right? He's 6 for 6 on championships. No one else can say that. So I got Jordan. Please tell Bryson he's wrong with Larry Bird. It's not even top 5.
Really?
That's my thoughts on it, Bryson.
I mean, I can't remember his name. There's this one Celtics player that has 11 rings.
Yeah, I mean, there's players with more rings than Jordan.
Bill Russell.
Yep. So there's players with more rings than Jordan out there. But you know, he's still the GOAT. Jordan's still the GOAT. It's certainly not. It's not Larry Bird. Larry Bird is not the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yes, he is.
No, it's not even close.
Yes, he
Not
is.
even close. He wouldn't. You know, it may be a push to get him inside the top 10 of all time.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
You think it'd be a push?
I think it'd be a push.
I'm surprised.
No. Larry Bird, no. Let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. Let us know who your top
Larry
guys are.
Bird, Michael Jordan.
Larry Bird or Michael Jordan? Who do you got? It's obviously Jordan. But let's get a pulse for what you guys are feeling here. So,
Or if you want LeBron, just say LeBron.
it's not LeBron. It's not. It's Jordan.
It's not.
No, it's Jordan.
It's not
all day.
LeBron.
Absolutely not. But digress from that, Bryson. We'll get back to here. We're going to do that 4-round mock draft with the LA Rams today. We're doing it through PFF, so we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off here.
Okay.
And as always, we're going to do a quick recap of the first round. So Travis Hunter went number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Maybe, but the Titans need a lot of help at quarterback. Mayonnaise boy isn't cutting it for him, Mr. Pick Six. So they're in a rebuild. Titans are in a rebuild. They got a new stadium coming. They need to get a franchise quarterback in there. So I don't see them going Travis Hunter, but possibly, you never know. Or they trade out of that top spot and then pick a Travis Hunter, because this year's draft class, that quarterback draft class, it isn't that deep. Right, Bryson, we've gone through a bunch of these mock drafts, and there isn't a whole lot out there outside of Cam Ward and Sanders. There's not a lot out there at quarterback. Next year's quarterback class looks much better at the moment. So maybe that's what Tennessee does. They take a look at it, say, hey, we'll take our guy next year. They trade back with a team like the Giants, and then take Travis Hunter maybe at 3rd overall if he's available. Cam Ward went 2nd in this mock draft to Cleveland. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Makes a ton of sense. This one's a little bit of a head scratcher. So the Giants went with a tackle. Giants don't have a quarterback, but they're building an offensive line for a quarterback they don't have. So they took Will Campbell, Abdul Carter, one of those premier positions. I would probably take him over Campbell, but he went to New England. Top edge rusher Abdul Carter. Ashton Genty, top running back in the draft, went to the Jaguars. Jaguars, it'd be a good pickup for the Jaguars, but Jaguars need some help in their secondary, right? Their defensive backs, it's not great there in Jacksonville, so they need to improve on that a little bit here. So the Bears went with Michael Williams, an edge rusher out of Georgia. So that's an interesting one. So they took him over Mike Green. I have Mike Green as second on our board, right below Abdul Carter. So, maybe. So Mike Green did go to San Francisco. And then our top receiver in the draft, McMillan, he went to Dallas.
Really?
He did, yeah. So McMillan out of Arizona went to Dallas.
I'm a little surprised on that one.
It is, yeah, and he's a big-bodied wide receiver, as we've mentioned, 6'4". It's a great guy. He's got great hands, right? He's great, kind of high pointing the ball, coming down with those contested catches. And let's move on down the list here. Shamar Stewart's another one to keep an eye on. He's a true pass rusher out of A&M. He went to the Bengals. So if the Bengals move on from Henriksen, they're going to have to replace him, right? So they went with an edge in this one with Shamar Stewart. I like Shamar Stewart a lot. Great pass rusher, not real great in the run category.
Will Johnson fell to the 18th pick.
Will Johnson, yeah. And he's probably, outside of Hunter, he's probably the top cornerback in the draft. Outside of Travis Hunter.
Hunt was the best.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then Green Bay went with the edge rusher from Tennessee, James Pierce Jr. So he's another guy, great edge rusher. I wouldn't be upset about that pick at all. And that brings us on the clock with the Rams and the 26th pick. So our positions of need for the Rams here on the PFF board are tight end, tackle, linebacker, and cornerback Bryson. So I'll kick it off here. I'll take the first pick, and then I'll let you take the second pick in this draft, okay?
Okay.
So, just right off the bat here, you got Kelvin Banks Jr. on the board, still a tackle from Texas. Let's take a quick look at him. He graded out an 86.2 this year. Run blocking grade was an 81. Pass blocking grade's 89.9. Fantastic there. He did allow one sack, only allowed one sack, 2 quarterback hits, and 7 hurries. So he's 6'4", 320. Maybe a little bit, not much, but a little bit undersized to tackle. He's the guy that, you could potentially shift over to guard if needed. But he's got good size, right? So that size allows you to kind of move him up and down the line if needed, which, as we've mentioned in the past, it's great to have that versatility on the O-line because you're going to see a lot of injuries, a lot of nicks and dings throughout the season. So having that ability to move a guy up or down the line when you need to is key. Certainly got the body size to where you could do that. I like Kelvin Banks Jr. a lot, but let's go ahead and just take a peek here. There's not a lot out there for tight ends, but we'll take a look here. Yeah, so tight end may be one we'd probably address here in the second or third round. I do like Derek Harmon an awful lot out of Oregon, defensive lineman. Graded out an 83.9, pass rush grade 86.3, and his run defensive grade was 80.5. Here's what I love about him, right? So we're talking about interior defensive lineman. He had 5 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 43 hurries on the quarterback this season. So fantastic, gets pressure on the quarterback. He's 6'5", 310 pounds. He's a big body to plug in there. As we saw in this past Super Bowl, you win the game up front, right? So that defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles really didn't allow Kansas City to get going at all. And that's what won the game for him. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to, strengthen the Rams defensive line even further. They have a great defensive line already. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Derek Harmon with the first pick here.
Okay. I would have took Kevin Banks Jr.
Is that who you would have took there? Well, you are on the clock here, Bryson, with the 90th pick.
Let's look at tight end.
Let's go to tight end here.
Is he? No, nope.
Not a lot of great options here at tight end, that's for sure.
Yeah, no thanks.
So we can look at tackles. So you got Marcus Imbo available.
Let's look at corner.
And go to corners. Close out of here. Let's go to our cornerback. So Dorian Strong is the top corner still available.
Look at him.
So he graded out as 73.9. His coverage grade, Bryson, was a 75. His man coverage, below average, 64.6. His zone coverage, it's right about average, 73.3. And he had 2 picks on the season.
I'm going to go with him.
You want to go with Dorian Strong. So cornerback, Virginia Tech, going to the Rams. So really bolstering that defense right off the bat here for the Rams. So pick 100. So we've addressed our top first 2 picks were not positions of need. Oh, well, I guess cornerback was. I take that back. So let's see what we have available here now. So we need a tackle, right? So let's look at Anthony Belton from North Carolina State. So he graded out as 73.6, had allowed 3 sacks on the season, 1 hit, and 8 quarterback hurries. His run blocking grades, wasn't his strength. Slightly below average at 69.4. His pass blocking grade was an 87.3. That's fantastic. I always like to look at his size, right? So he's 6'6", 336. They haven't listed as guard, but that's certainly, he's big enough to play tackle at the NFL level. Anthony Belton. Let me see. I like him a lot, but I want to take a peek here at some of the other offensive tackles here on the board. So you got Jalen Rivers, graded 70.7, allowed 1 sack, 1 hit, 7 hurries. Run blocking was 65.8, pass blocking 78.8. 6'5", 325. I like him. I don't like him as much as Belton. I'm going to go ahead and draft Belton with this pick here.
Okay. Last pick.
Last pick of this mock draft for the LA Rams.
Let's look at the top guy, a tight end.
Gunnar Helm from Texas. So he graded out at 62.3. He had 786 yards and 7 touchdowns. His receiving grade was 72.4, so kind of borderline average right there. Run blocking grade wasn't great, 43.5. And he had 2 drops on the season, so that's not terrible. He's 6'5", 250, so he's a big tight end coming out of Texas. Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, let's look at a different guy.
All right, so let's pull up our tight ends here, see what we got. So you got Mitchell Evans.
Let's look at him.
From Notre Dame. So he had a little bit of a down season, but he did have some spark the previous season. So he graded out as 65.3. He had 418 yards and 3 touchdowns. Receiving grade 65.9. Run blocking grade, so much better than the previous guy, 60.7. Now body size, he's 6'5", 260. So also got a big boy here too.
Take him.
Mitchell Evans, tight end from Notre Dame. We're going to go ahead and take him here with our last pick in the draft. So here you have it, our 4-round mock draft for the LA Rams. Derek Harmon gave us a B on that one. I love him a lot. He's a great pass rushing defensive lineman. He'd be a great addition, really kind of help bring that Rams defensive line.
I knew Calvin Banks Jr. would have been better.
Dorian Strong, you like him more than Harmon. I like Harmon, so I went with him. Dorian Strong, cornerback, Virginia Tech, we had a B- on. Anthony Belton, the tackle out of North Carolina State, we had an A- on that one, and Mitchell Evans, a B. So we graded out with a B+ on this draft. So let us,
38.
Top 38%. So if you're a Rams fan, let us know what you think of this draft. Would you be happy with it? I felt like it'd be a solid draft. We addressed some of the holes there, really bolstered that defense. Offense should be improved, especially, you got Stafford coming back, and now you have Devontae Adams there. So you got that veteran wide receiver there. to line up alongside with Puka Nacua. So, as always, Bryson.
It's go, Pat, go.